Okay, we've been asked how to make a restaurant style steak, so this is what we've come up with. This is our process. And first things first, get a nice good quality steak. We like ribeye. Get ours from Kirkland, from Costco. And so basically we'll just grab some of this and we're going to open up the packaging. And the first thing that you're going to want to do, I like to just use a little glove on my left hand because I tend to be right-handed, so I'll use that for everything else, but I'll use my left hand to pull out the meat. And I've got my plate here and I'm going to go ahead. I think we're going to be good with probably 2 tonight. You think 2, 3?
I think probably
Becky's filming
3.
for me tonight. 3. Okay, so we're going to do 3.
Probably the smaller one.
So let's grab the smaller one. We'll put this one back in and freeze it so that we can use it later. So we've got these 3. Fits nicely on here. Okay, before we even get to cooking, we're about half hour away from cooking. So we're going to take the kosher salt and we're just going to liberally cover these in the salt. Okay, let those sit there. And I'm going
Just do one side and
pour a little bit of that onto the bottom, but we'll put the most of it onto the top. And we're just going to coat these. Put a little bit more just down here so they can sit in it. There we go. So get the end down here. As you can see, there's a good amount. We're just going to let that sit for a half hour and then we'll come back, rinse it off, and we'll pick up from there. Okay, while the steaks are sitting in the salt, we are going to go ahead and season up get the grill ready here. I've got some Pam here. I ran out of just actual canola oil. Let me see if but this has canola oil, which is good because that will have a higher flash point. It takes a lot more heat for it to burn. And I've got a clean rag that I'm then going to just spray on. Get a good amount on there, and I'm going to take that and just start rubbing down the grill. And it took a little bit to realize that actually doing this with a paper towel, it just eats up the paper towel. So we'll just go down here, apply it to the area where I'll be cooking the meat, and it's also cleaning it while we're doing it. I've already scraped it down pretty good. So now let's just fold that over, apply another coating, and we'll do the other side. There we go. Yeah. Again, my main concern is getting the areas where the meat's going to be at. And clean that good. Get that on there nice. I'm not too worried because I'm actually going to use olive oil on the meat as well. Alright, so just get the grill ready, it's clean, and I just added some canola oil to it. Another tip that we like to do is clarify some butter. When you're done cooking the steaks, we're actually going to have them sit on a hot plate with this butter. And to clarify it, you're just going to get a small pan and then some butter. And the nice thing is you can use a good amount because it actually saves really well and you can reheat it, but you want to do this on a very low heat. So you're just going to get it started and then turn it down and just let the butter do its stuff. I'm on very, very low. I don't know if we can show, but as you can see the flame's pretty low there. I'm getting it started now before we start cooking because I don't want to be going back and forth between the grill and trying to get this ready. So as you can see here, we've got the butter is starting to separate the milk solids from the rest of it, and it's starting to collect up on the top, creating this foam. What you want to wait for is for it to start to boil, because that's what's going to pull that away. It's going to create this casein that will also separate out from what you're going to use as your clarified butter. And I've got over here on the side another pan ready with a small wire strainer, and we're going to pour it through there so that we keep the milk fats and the casein away from our clarified butter. And since we're also going to be heating up some plates to use, and honestly, once we get the meat onto the grill, it doesn't take too long to cook it. So we're going to go ahead and set up the stove so that it is ready, and I think we'll just go ahead and set the bake to the lowest setting, and then we'll get some plates that we can stick in here. So get this down as low as it'll go. I think ours is what, 170? There we go, and start. And then we'll get some plates and put those in there so that they can start to warm up. Okay, back out at the grill while I'm waiting for the butter to just finish, and we're getting close to where the meat's ready, so we'll get this started and go ahead and light it up. And I like to let it get nice and hot so that when you put the meat on, you create a sear. You're going to sear that outside meat. So we're going to let this stay just on the hottest setting as we finish getting the meat ready to bring it out. Boiling underneath, and we're just going to take that off of the flame and pour it off over here, making sure to keep those milk solids in this whisk, in this strainer I should say, not a whisk. There you go, this is live, so you're getting the errors too. Alright, so, and we'll just
strain it once or twice?
Let's, are you still recording?
Yes.
Becky asked, do I strain it once or twice? And yes, we can strain it one more time, but we need to clean this out, because if we strain it with all of this, it's just going to bring the milk fats back. So we're going to strain it one more time to where this is clear. Okay, next the meat's ready to be rinsed off, so turn on some water here, and I'll just pull the plate over and we'll start to rinse these off. Just going to also clean this plate off a little bit, try to get the extra salt off of there. There's 1, 2, yeah, 3, just like that, and I'll just clean that off there. Perfect. And then, hold on here, we'll just grab a paper towel and just damp these, because we're going to put some oil on there, and I just want to get as much of that water off before I add the oil to it. And some of this. And we're just going to turn over here back to the island, and we'll add the oil and just a healthy amount of pepper to it. Just drizzle this down over the top. Massage that into the meat. And I've just got some fine ground pepper here. And we've just had it sitting in salt, so honestly I'm not going to add any extra salt to it. But go ahead and rub all the sides first. Get just a little bit more here. Alright, I'm blocking it with my hand. Okay. Okay, and then we're just going to get a good amount of pepper on here. And now the nice thing is, since this has been sitting out in that salt, it's also helped to bring the meat up to room temperature. And the key with bringing it up to room temperature is that it's going to cook more evenly. If you have cold areas while you've got areas that are more in room temperature on the meat, then you're going to have uneven cooking. So there we go, just a little bit more pepper on this side, and we're ready to go adjust the grill and put this on. Alright, so we're back at the grill. It's nice and hot, got the meat. I'm going to turn this all the way down to low on all of my burners, and we'll just grab this and got my tongs. I'm going to go ahead and put these on. Hear that sizzle? That's a good sound. Okay, put that off onto the side now. The thing with the meat is if you like medium rare, it's going to be about 2.5 minutes. Alright, it's been about a little over 2 minutes, so I'm going to make the first turn. And look at that beautiful sear right there. That is gorgeous. That's exactly what we want to see. And there's that one. Let's get this one. That one's, oh yeah, coming right off. Looking good. Okay. There we go. See, I was holding it a little high, doing this freehand. Becky's inside making the hash browns. Gonna make it steak and egg and hash browns. All right. It's been about 2 more minutes. A little over that. Let me focus in on these. Great. We're going to start turning again. But as you notice, I've got those lines. If you care, you can always turn this so that you get the lines going the opposite direction. And that's going to change this a little bit. Put it like that. Got to change my flow so I get those nice cross hashing or whatever they're called. Okay, see, that one could have sat a little bit longer. My grill's starting to cool down compared to when I first put them on. So I'm going to turn it up just a little bit to adjust for that. All right, time for our last turn. There we go, looking pretty. Let's get right here, as you can see. Looking nice there. Like that. Now, since I've turned these, I've got another 2.5 minutes before they're ready to come off. I've already got my clarified butter over here. So now I'm going to go inside. When there's about a minute left, I'm going to grab the hot plate out of the oven, bring it over here, and then we'll pull off the steaks. All right, just pulled out the hot plate. So while that's still cooking in there, grab some of this clarified butter. I'm just going to drizzle this over the top here. Get a good amount on there, as that meat, as it sits, will soak up its juices, and then a little bit of this clarified butter as well. Plus, as everything comes together, it just tastes amazing. All right, so we got the butter ready. We got a nice hot plate. Let's check on our meat. Ah, it's looking beautiful. I'm going to turn this just to see. Yeah, that's looking nice. Go ahead and take number 1 off. Put it on the side. Number 2. Well, actually, let's grab this one. Right there. And this is going to get a little crazy. Let's push this over so we can get down into the butter too. That's good. And I'll put my tongs over on the side over here. And I'm just going to drizzle a little bit more of this clarified butter on top of the meat. All right, here's our steak. It is ready to go, but we're not ready to eat it yet. You want to let it sit for at least 5 minutes. A little bit longer if you need to, that's fine. That's why we did a hot plate, so it keeps it warm. But this gives it time for the juices to just suck right back up into the steak, and as I said before, hopefully some of that clarified butter as well. So just wait about 5 minutes and then enjoy. Get out. I think everyone's going to be happy. We'll get the oohs and ahs after they start. Actually, it'll be more of a that's good.